Welcome to the Banana Breakdown Podcast, your inside look at all things Banana Ball through player interviews and game breakdowns. We're your hosts. I'm Brandon, and I like to go bananas.
I'm Sammy. I'm the life of the party. And as always, go party animals.
Got a glove and a dream.
What a play by that kid! Oh, it's Brandon! No way! From the Banana Ball Breakdown Podcast. He and his co-host Sammy have been podcasting since the first game of the 2025 World Tour. He catches a foul ball for an out in the final game. Poetic.
You guys are outstanding. You guys are outstanding.
This might have been the craziest night of games, and it matters so much because of the Banana Ball Open. We have a couple teams that just clinched their spot and a couple teams that are in a precarious spot after tonight.
I'm not happy. I'm not happy at all, but I'm here. Let's talk about these games.
Yeah, so let's talk about all of the games from tonight and how they affect the Banana Ball Open. So the Banana Ball Open is next weekend. There are 2 more games tomorrow night that determine the final people in the Banana Ball Open. I'm going to pull up the graphics now that show what the current standings are, because this is going to be important in our conversation.
I'm opening a Mountain Dew right now. I'm going to need this.
So here's the standings board. So the Bananas are now up 9-1 with their win. We'll recap all the games in just a second. The Tailgaters are 5-5. The Firefighters are now 5-5. And then the rest, Party Animals, Coconuts, and Clowns with 4 wins. So after tonight, the Tailgaters and the Firefighters officially clinched a spot in the Banana Ball Open, as the Coconuts and Clowns cannot get past 4 wins. So they're automatically in. Now it's between the Party Animals, Coconuts, and Clowns with the tiebreaker if they're at 4 wins. So if tomorrow the Party Animals can win, they get up to 5 wins, they're in the Open. If they lose, then it goes to the head-to-head matchups, and we can break that down in just a second.
Yeah, the tiebreakers, the first tiebreaker is head-to-head matchups, and so essentially what happens with these tiebreakers, the Coconuts have been eliminated from Open contention, which is crazy because they had one of the easiest, what we thought going into it, one of the easiest paths to get to the Open. All they needed was 1 win, and they controlled a ton of tiebreakers after that if you got to 5 wins for them. But they ended up getting swept by the Clowns, which was a huge upset because the Clowns had been struggling lately, but they just went crazy this weekend with their offense. And so the Coconuts have been eliminated, and so if the Party Animals lose tomorrow, the Clowns would get that last spot.
Yeah, so if we see the breakdown here, there's 2 paths. Party Animals win and get up to 5, they go to the Open. If they lose, then you're going to have this right here. All 3 teams are going to be tied at 4 wins and 7 losses. Because it's the head-to-head and they add up, it's going to come down to Coconuts are 2-2 against these other 2 teams. Party Animals are 2-3, and the Clowns are 3-2. The Clowns have the best head-to-head there, so the Clowns would move on, and the Party Animals and Coconuts would be eliminated. Like Sammy said, Coconuts are officially out of contention because even in the head-to-head tiebreaker, they're officially out. We do have a question, DJ Cora, do the Clowns still have a chance? Yes. The Clowns need the Party Animals to lose tomorrow. If the Party Animals lose tomorrow, the Clowns are in. If the Party Animals win tomorrow, Party Animals are in.
Yep. So it all comes down to that game. So for those just hopping on, 3 teams have already clinched their spot. The Bananas are the 1 seed. As of right now, Tailgaters are the 2, and Firefighters are the 3. Those are the teams that have clinched. The Firefighters do have a chance to get the 2 seed if they win tomorrow and the Tailgaters lose. So if they both win, there might be some tiebreaker stuff there but I'm pretty sure the Tailgaters hold the tiebreaker on there. I'm not 100% sure on that, but basically Firefighters have a chance to get the 2 seed still, but those 3 teams are locked in, and now Party Animals and Clowns are fighting for the last spot. The Clowns did everything they possibly could to give themselves a chance by sweeping the Coconuts, but now it's just up to the Party Animals to decide the fate of those 2 teams.
Yeah, and I just want to say a quick thank you to everyone who is currently on the live stream watching at 11 p.m. Eastern time or whatever other time zone you are in. absolutely incredible. We're in Arizona, so it's only 8:30 for us, but for some people it's a very late night. So thank you so much for being here. And yeah, we got some good comments
All
here.
right, Eli, welcome back. I just want to say we know you're one of our first fans. We've got a few of you here that have been here since day one, and just want to appreciate your back. But yes, this comment is, I think we should start here. So he says, just insane, the defending champs, the Party Animals, are on the chopping block for the first tournament of the season. What's going on right now? Brandon, what are your thoughts? I need an objective opinion, because right now I'm just in the depths of despair.
Well, it's hard to know because we cannot fully talk about it because there's only been 10 games. So we can't say for sure what it was, but it does look like a lot of these new guys are really crushing it, and the Party Animals are just in a rough patch. But you have to look at it's baseball. Baseball is a high variance sport. Just because the Party Animals have struggled these past couple games does not mean that they are the worst team in the league and they're going to be gone from playoff contention. Even if they don't make the Open, they still are a very strong contending team to be in the Banana Ball Bowl at the end of the year for the championship. I still truly believe that. But right now, they're definitely having a hard time. And it's cool to see teams like the Firefighters. This Firefighters teams look so different from last year. Like, I'm absolutely shocked by these multiple games where they're just blowing so many runs. And it's really, really cool to see. But I'd love to hear your thoughts as a Party Animals fan on this team.
Well, I mean, the most obvious one that we've got to talk about is Drew Gillespie is struggling on the mound right now. And you have to keep going to him because he's your guy, former pitcher of the year, and you can't just take him out. But I was literally about to say this. They should have left Peter Holden in for the 9th inning. I totally agree with that. Like, Drew Gillespie has won you so many games, and obviously you weren't expecting him to give up 4 runs, and they were all earned, by the way. Four earned runs in that 9th inning. You weren't expecting that to happen. But Peter Holden was excellent in that 8th inning. You talk about an awesome moment where I was like, okay, we're gonna win this. Was that the 8-2-2 dance that they were gonna have in the 8th inning, and
So funny.
he calls the fielders off. They're like, nope. He's like, nope, we're not actually gonna do a dance here. And then Dalton Cornett's at first, and he calls off the fielders. He's like, nope, we're not gonna do it. And then he picks off Cornett and gets that out. And then anyway, they didn't give up a run in that 8th inning. Ultimately, they did give up a point because of the equalizer point with the trick plays. But I was like, this guy's on fire, you know. But you bring in Drew, you expect him to get a save to win the game, and it just didn't happen. I don't know what's going on, but they might need to rethink this. I don't know. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting to see, and I appreciate all of the comments in here. There are so many that I want to get to that we're not going to be able to because it's just coming in so fast. But like a bunch of people with the Party Animals. Anne-Marie, I think we need to shake things up and see what happens. It can't get much worse. And just like so many other ones with that. Like,
it can always get worse.
That's a great way to look at things. But yeah, no, it's an interesting time to be a Banana Ball fan, and this is one of the coolest storylines. I know it's hard as Party Animals fans right now, but that shows the competitive nature of Banana Ball, that the top team that was lights out last year, that completely destroyed everyone, is now in this position where they're getting beaten by the Firefighters, who last year were the worst team in the standings and had a horrible, horrible year. And so
they did make it to the championship.
They did, beating the Bananas.
Yeah.
You don't have to rub it in. But it's really interesting seeing how much these teams change. And I go back to the draft. The draft was absolutely genius for Banana Ball, for the vitality of the sport, to bring in all of those new players. And I'm very intrigued to see what's going to happen in the future going forward with future drafts. We know for a fact that a draft is coming this year. They have put out the notice for prospective players that they're looking for more players and that they're going to have a draft for those players that are come to the tryouts. So this is going forward. The teams are going to continue to shift. We're going to continue to get good talent. And this just shows the future of Banana Ball is bright, even though it's hard right now as a Party Animals fan to be losing.
Yeah, I know. I mean, we've talked about this last live stream, maybe. I don't know. It's been a while. But you've got to, I've said as a Party Animals fan, if I go back in time, I want Coach Vava to do the exact same thing that he did in the draft, right? Bring back everyone. They're defending champs. Bring back as many people as possible. And just say, hey, you know what? Everyone else in the league, you need to catch up to us. We don't need to do anything. And so I love that. I love that confidence to say, hey, guys, you want a championship, we're going to run it back. However, it looks like the league caught up to him a lot quicker than we all expected. And that is something that's going to, it's a hard pill to swallow for the guys in that locker room, hard pill to swallow for us fans. And it's just, they're going to need to figure something out quick. It's funny though, because, we're talking about how this world's ending, how it feels right now. But and obviously that ninth inning was terrible. It was absolutely atrocious to give up 4 runs like that. And, Jake Skoll goes out and hits a 2-run homer in the bottom of the ninth. And if you just gave up 2, we're going to showdowns, but you gave up 4, and so you lose. But anyway, it's just the funny thing is that if things, just a few things change, a few things go differently, we're having a completely different conversation, and we're saying, hey, the Party Animals just secured a spot for the Banana Ball Open. Everything's looking like it's getting better. And so it's a long season. We'll see what happens. Party Animals can still win tomorrow, make the Open, win the Open, and then we don't have to worry about if they're going to miss the playoffs. I hope that's the case, but we'll see.
Yeah, and we got to go to this comment from Anne Marie. Let's all remember the Clowns were 2-7 before this weekend. We've just scratched the surface of the season. Yeah, I am shocked by what the Clowns pulled off, and we'll talk about them in just a little bit. But the fact that they swept and pulled this off and now are even still in contention, like I thought there was a pretty high probability they were gone. And the fact that they're still in contention, the Coconuts are out of contention is kind of crazy to me. But kudos to the Clowns.
Yeah, that was the biggest shocker. Because like I said before, the Coconuts, in my mind, looking at it, I was like, okay, Coconuts have the easiest path here. They've set themselves up pretty well. The Clowns have been struggling. They have their headliner, like it's kind of set up perfectly for them, and then the Clowns just went and played spoiler and ruined their chance. So it's pretty crazy how a series like that can just change everything when it comes to the Banana Ball Open.
And that's what I love about the fact that the Banana Ball Open is only after the first 11 games, is because it's a small window of time. And remember, guys, it's only one spot in the playoffs. The Banana Ball Open does not determine 2, 3, or 4 spots in the playoffs. It's just one. So just because Bananas, Tailgaters, and Firefighters are in there with one other team that we'll find out tomorrow, only one of those teams is going to the playoffs guaranteed. And then the other teams are going to have to fight tooth and nail for the rest of the season. So not all is lost, even for the teams that didn't make it to the Open.
Yeah, and like, let's say Party Animals win tomorrow, Clowns and Coconuts don't make the Open. One or both of those teams, could still make the playoffs at the end of the year.
Probably will.
And with how both of them have been playing, it's very likely. And I think that the playoff race is going to be really, really close. And
I can't wait.
I don't know who's all going to make it, but it's exciting. But yeah.
So talking about the playoffs, Eli says, are the playoffs the 4-team format from last year or something different? What we know about it is that, yes, it's going to be 4 of the 6 teams, top 4 get in. And we don't know for sure the format, but right now we're predicting it's going to be similar to last year, just based off of what we heard of the 4 days, assuming it's 2 games and 2 games. And then the next weekend is the championship is what we're assuming at the moment. There's not a lot out there at the moment, but that's what we're hoping for. I love the 2-game format for the championship. I like how they're kind of switching it up for the Banana Ball Open, having it be 1 game for the semifinals, and then the winners go to a 2-game format that ends with showdowns if it's tied. So we'll see how it all goes down. But this race for the Banana Ball Open makes me so much more excited for the playoff race coming at the end of the season.
Yeah, I love the 2-game series thing. Instead of having a 3-game series, you just play 2 games. If it's tied, you go directly to showdowns. I'm really excited about that for the championship and with the Banana Ball Open. I would prefer that to be what the championship is instead of just a one-off game, but we'll see what they do there.
Yeah. So talking about the Clowns, DJ Cora says, the Clowns had nothing to lose. Baber himself said a team like that is dangerous. He was right. Yes. That happened in 2023 when the Party Animals were down 8 games or whatever it was, and they came back and won the season. And it happened again this past season when the Firefighters, they were about to be eliminated, and then they pulled it off against the Bananas in a miracle. And then the Clowns potentially pulled off that again, depending on how the games go tomorrow night. So it's just crazy to watch. And we've seen a ton of comments in there. The competition in this league is crazy. And it's so good for the sport because so many people still see it and they say, oh, those guys just dance. It's all scripted. There's nothing there. They don't understand what all of us fans, everyone on this live stream, the tension and the stress that we felt tonight as the up and downs of all of these games happen as we're trying to find out if our favorite team got into the Open.
Yeah, I commented on the University of North Carolina's athletics post. They made a post that they collaborated with the Bananas about. They showed the field, because the Bananas play the Tailgaters there in their football stadium. They showed the field and they're like, said something, and I commented and was like, "This is gonna be an awesome game tonight." And this guy responded to me, just some random guy, and just had all it said was an asterisk and said show, like he was correcting me, saying it's not like a real game. And if he was there, I don't know if he was going to be there or not, but if he was there, he learned, especially with that game, how crazy that game was. He learned that it's a game. There's a lot of show to it, but that was a real intense game, and we'll talk about that game a little bit later. But it's just a great point that the competition in this league is just, these games have been outstanding, and the Banana Ball Open is probably going to be even better. Which I just want to plug that we're going to be going live after the games in the Banana Ball Open. We'll be going live Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, and then Monday we'll go live to talk about who won and everything. So our live stream schedule is a little bit different, but yeah. So
that's immediately after those games at as soon as the games end. We're going to jump right on the live stream Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then on Monday at 8:30 Eastern time, we'll jump on, recap everything, talk about who won, playoff spot implications, all of that. So we're doing a bunch of post-game live streams. Normally we do a weekly Wednesday live stream. But yeah, we are super excited for this. But yeah, so we have to talk about, in this, we're going to talk about the Clowns and what they pulled off, and we're going to talk about the Bananas. Before we transition to those, is there anything else with the Party Animals that we need to discuss before we move
on? Let's see. Sorry, I was just looking at some comments. We'll get to some of those comments in a little bit, but I hope that the locker room sticks together. There have been some rumors that I've seen and some some fans that have been at games that have seen some things on the sideline that worry me. And I just hope that they can keep the keep the team together. There was so much chemistry last year, and it just feels different right now. And obviously, winning fixes everything. And so when you lose, those things become more apparent. But I just hope they can keep it together, keep the chemistry back. I hope Skoll is okay. He was, even after that home run, yeah, Skoll appears hurt, still hit a home. He was like limping as he was rounding the bases. I hope he's okay. I hope he can get healthy. I don't know. Maybe missing the Banana Ball Open would be good for them to get everyone healthy, get Skoll healthy, so they don't have to play that weekend. But I don't know. I'm just a little concerned. But let's stop talking about it and let's move on. Okay, yeah. Let's bring this up. No live stream tomorrow after we find out who's in the Open or before it starts. Yes, sorry. We're just our schedules are just, it's not going to work out for us to do that. We'll yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no, we usually take off Sundays to spend time with our family, go to church, all of the things, but like it's really important on Sunday nights. That's our big family time, and so we keep that special and are trying to not do anything on that night. It kind of does throw a wrench into these things, but especially as things get crazier and crazier with the Banana Ball schedule, keeping that night set aside is going to be helpful for us to be able to continue to keep doing this. So that's why we're not going live on the Sunday after the Banana Ball Open Championship as well. So hopefully that answers your question. We're trying to go live as much as we possibly can to bring all of this to you guys. But yeah, no live stream tomorrow.
Yeah, but if you want to support us and so that we can not have such crazy guys, we'll still always take Sundays off. That's just going to be a thing. But that's just a commitment that we've made. But subscribe, like, so that we can just keep doing this and we won't have other stuff like jobs that we have to worry about.
Yeah, so
one day
we're just doing this on the side, trying to pull off as much as we can through the busyness of all of the other schedules and things that we have. But again, this is a sacrifice for you guys too to be here, and so we appreciate you guys being here. We love this community that has been built, and we're definitely excited for the future of Banana Ball. And we're putting a lot of time and effort into it because we believe that Banana Ball is the future, that it's growing, and we want to be a part of it because this community is insanely amazing, and we appreciate every single one of you.
Yeah, it's so fun. I'm having a blast. All right, let's talk about the Clowns Coconuts.
Okay, so the Clowns. I do want to talk about first thing with the first game. We had to watch. We were watching both games tonight, the Bananas game and the Clowns game. We were mostly focusing on the Bananas game, and it was good that we were because there were so many crazy moments that we're going to talk about. But I'm going to focus mostly on the Clowns game last night and what happened, and then we'll kind of go from there. So I'm going to pull up right now, just as we're talking, the Jackie Bradley Jr. was the king of last night. It was absolutely insane. So first of all, Jackie Bradley Jr. pulled off the cycle, and he's the third player in Banana Ball history to pull one off, with Jake Skoll having 2 cycles before this season, and KJ Jackson got a cycle, and now Jackie Bradley Jr. with his first cycle in Banana Ball. And obviously there's the asterisk of Joe Lytle, who got one in the prep season with those behind the peel games. But great showing for Jackie Bradley Jr. His batting average is over 400. He's crushing it, and just kind of shows again the competitiveness of Banana Ball increasing. And that was 4 for 4 in 4 at bats. And I think his 5th at bat, he got like a ball 4 spread or something like that.
Yeah.
So just absolutely incredible what he pulled off.
4 for 4, 6 RBIs, which ties the Banana Ball record. So
for a single player.
And then in that same game, Clowns scored 22 runs, which broke the Banana Ball record for most. Sorry, excuse me. Right? Was it 22?
22 hits.
22 hits. I said runs. 22 hits, which breaks the Banana Ball record for most hits in a game. So that was a crazy performance. The Clowns were just on fire, and then they kept it up today, and they were just crushing it. the Clowns are dangerous. I was commenting this on our Instagram posts. It's like, if the Clowns play like this, now obviously they're not going to hit like this every game, but they can beat anyone when they can hit like this. Their pitching staff needs to step it up a little bit, but they're really, really dangerous, and they can get hot, and they can get hot fast. And so, if they somehow sneak into the Open with the Party Animals losing tomorrow, they could win it and just get a spot. They're that good. So it was cool to see things just kind of click for them this weekend, so that they could show how good they really are.
Yeah, for sure. And just again, as we talked about, they were 2-7 coming in this weekend. Now they're 4-7 because they swept the Loco Beach Coconuts. They were the last team by a large margin, and now they have contention to be in the Banana Ball Open next weekend. And one of the coolest things is, as it shows right here, this was Ryan Howard's first game being the primetime coach for the Clowns, and they absolutely crushed it. So, I mean, it's just so cool to see them having a coach that is an MLB legend. Then they have Jackie Bradley Jr. on the team, who's an MLB legend, and how that just raises the bar there. And obviously the Coconuts as well, with Shane Victorino being the primetime coach for them. That's super cool what that's pulled off. And again, tonight, the Coconuts, in the first inning, they scored 6 runs, and that really helped them out. And it was very cool to see, like, both of these teams are scoring a lot and doing a lot with what they've got. So
yeah,
very proud of the Clowns.
If those two teams, the Clowns and the Coconuts, could just get some help in their pitching room, they could be the best teams in the league because of how amazing their offense is. They can pretty much score on anyone. So that's a really interesting thing to monitor.
Yeah, the Coconuts in particular, because they have some of the best, at least a couple weeks in the past, as we've been tracking it weekly and putting all the standings out. They've had like the best batting average, most hits. Like, their bats are on fire for the Coconuts. And so it's just, if they can get the pitching under control, like, they're going to be incredibly dangerous. And so it's really cool to see what's going to happen there. And we do have a question talking about the primetime coach. So Gary asks, what is the role of the primetime coach over the regular coach and manager? So let's talk about what we don't know, and then we'll talk about what we do. What we don't know is exactly what they do on the field for that night. It has not been fully revealed if he's taking over for Coach Fox completely, and Coach Fox is just there as an assistant manager. We don't know all of those details. What we do know is that they're going to be at all of the big games. So they're going to be at like the football stadiums, MLB stadiums. Presumably, this was like the first time the Coconuts and Clowns were coming together, so that's why they were at this game. I'd love to understand some of those dynamics. I'm assuming that they come in and they're helping out. They're probably directing a lot of it, but the regular coaches are still a huge part of the process, is my understanding, but we don't know exactly how it works. So
yeah, you nailed that. Anything else to talk about with the Clowns?
I think that's everything I've got. I was very impressed with what they pulled off. Until we know tomorrow if they're in the Open or not, that'll kind of determine some of the storyline that's happening. But I guess the last thing I will say is, even if the Clowns don't get in the Open, with what they pulled off tonight, and even the Coconuts for that matter, the Coconuts didn't win these last 2 games, but they looked very good the past 2 games. These 2 teams, if the Coconuts and Clowns don't get in the Open, I fully expect them to be in strong contention for the playoffs at the end of the year. These are great teams. They've showed it. And as Sammy predicted this in the offseason, that the Coconuts and Clowns would probably have a slow start as they're getting used to Banana Ball, and that they could be electric and being really hot at the end of the season. They've started faster than we were expecting. They're already playing better than we were expecting with this transition to Banana Ball. So, like, by the end of the season, they could be a really, really fearsome team to fight against.
This is why you should listen to us. I had a prediction that's somewhat correct.
Yeah, so super excited to see. Let's see if there's any other questions in the chat, and we'll go from there. Carmen says, it feels like this Open is a great marketing tool. I understand the Open winner gets a spot in the playoffs, but it feels more like a marketing tool. That's totally fair. I think that part of it is Jesse Cole talks about that attention beats marketing, and the goal is to get attention. And I think that this is one of the best things to prove competitiveness. I think it's not as much about getting eyes on Banana Ball. It's about letting people know that Banana Ball is competitive and it's a sport and all of those things. So I think it's trying to direct some of that conversation. And yeah, I think we should go to another comment that I think you were seeing in there.
Oh yeah. I just appreciate that someone thinks I'm funny.
That is awesome.
But yeah, I think you're right about the Open. That no one can say that this is just a gimmick anymore. That this stuff is, these games are super competitive. And if you go to those games, like we've seen a lot of people in the chat say, I've been to this game, I've been to this game. You see stuff in the dugout that you don't see just watching it on the stream, and that they are taking this very seriously. They really want to win, and yeah, so this is taking away any of those ideas that it's just a gimmick and these guys don't care about it. It's just a show or whatever. So
yeah, and on that topic, I will say when we went to the game and we were in the dugout with the Texas Tailgaters as media, that was eye-opening. Like just hearing their conversations of like the guy just strikes out and then he walks back to the dugout and they're all like, what's he pitching? What's he throwing? Like how fast, what pitches, all these things. And they're like, you can see like the frustration on their face because they just struck out and they want it. It's not just like if they went up there and it was like, okay, it's on the script, then I'm going to strike out. Like, and then I have to fake an angry face as I walk to the dugout. Like that's not what happens. And it was so cool to see those conversations, how much these guys care, and just so many of the conversations as they're talking about the stats leaderboards that we're posting and how much they're trying so hard to get to the top of the leaderboards and all of that. Which, by the way, if you haven't followed us on Instagram, that's where we post all of the leaderboards. We're tracking them weekly, and it's really fun to watch where all the players stack up.
Yeah, Indy Stanley had a funny comment on
our
post saying that because we posted how the tiebreakers work and what teams can make the Open and stuff, and Indy Stanley commented saying that they were like debating on the bus about like what the tiebreakers are and stuff like that. That was pretty funny. Yeah. All right, I want to cover this.
Yeah,
we talked a lot about this on our last live stream. If you want to go back and watch that, we had Josh Talevsky come on to talk about in general the Banana Ball Open. So we had a lot of conversations with him and after he came on and just talking about the point of the Open and everything. So Chocolate Covered Games says, I don't know how I feel about the Open. If the team that wins it goes on to have a terrible second half of the season and still makes the playoff, I think we'll see a lot of backlash. And on one hand, I get it. I get how that could be frustrating. On the other hand, there's two things to keep in mind. One, it's very unlikely that a team that's good enough to win the Banana Ball Open, that is good enough to win this 4-game tournament, win a 2-game series in the championship, is going to miss the playoff. I think it's very unlikely that they would end up as the 5th or the 6th best team. It could happen, and yes, there could be some backlash there. But two, the team that gets into the Banana Ball Open or gets into the playoff by winning the Banana Ball Open still has a ton of motivation to keep playing. I've seen a lot of fans worry like, oh, they could just coast the rest of the year because they don't have to worry about making the playoff. Yeah, they don't have to worry about making the playoff anymore, but they still want to improve their seed. If they end up as the 6th or the 5th best team, they're still going to be the 4, and then you probably have to play the Bananas in the first round. Like that's with how good the Bananas been playing. That's not great, And so they still have a ton of motivation. Being the 1, 2, or 3 seed is infinitely better than the 4 seed, and you want to get out of that 4 spot as much as possible. And so there's still a ton of motivation there. And so I get it. I get that there could be some backlash if it ends up being a bad team and they show up in there. But ultimately, I don't – there's a ton of motivation there. And it makes the first half of the season, I mean, the first 11 games, it's not even halfway through the season. This first part of the season, a lot of fun. There's a lot of conversations to have. I mean, if you're in the business of making content like us, it's really helpful for us to have these types of conversations. I think it's a lot of fun, but I totally get the concern. But I think that by the time we get to the end, we're not going to be as worried about it.
Yeah, totally agree. And then there's a couple other comments that came through that I thought it would be hilarious to talk about. So DJ Corey says, the Open also helps with sponsorship, which allows the sport to grow. Jesse and Emily want to retain ownership without franchising, and this allows them to do so. So that's talking about the sponsorship that everyone probably saw if they were watching the games tonight. As Anne Marie says, I've gotten a ton of Geico ads about the Open. And I was trying to pull up and see if I can get a video to have the Geico ad so that we can play that for you guys.
We're not going to show a Geico ad without Geico paying us. Come on.
I got the wrong Geico ad. It's not even the banana one, but it was really cool to see there's a Geico ad out there it just has the Geico logo on it, but it's just bananas, and it's showing the backflip catches and all of the fun stuff. And it's just really cool to kind of see how that is something that is helping sponsor the Open, help it grow, all of that. So I'm very intrigued to see what that's going to be like, because they did say on the end of the ad, Banana Ball Open from the Banana Ball Championship League presented by Geico. And so we'll see how all of that goes with all of the branding, but would love to hear how you guys feel about all of that. And then, yeah, there's another company who makes blizzards. Am I allowed to say their name without
No, if they're not paying us, we're not saying their name.
Okay. So the Blizzard company they have been doing a lot of ads as well. But yeah, it's super fun to see. And we got the same ads, so we've been watching that all day. But
if you guys think Geico should sponsor us, feel free to email them and tell them about us.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just joking. It's late, guys. I'm getting tired.
Are you in a place that you're ready to talk about the bananas?
I have to. So yeah.
Okay. So let's bring up. We have a couple moments that were really, really fun that we wanted to talk about. Is there one in particular you want to start with, Sammy? And you guys can let us know in the chat as well. We've got a couple we're talking about.
I feel like there's one that you're thinking of.
Not in particular. No.
Well, let's just start with the weirdest situation.
Yeah.
That's Bill Belichick showing up in this game.
Okay, let's pull that one out.
If you guys follow the NFL, and now, so Bill Belichick used to be the coach of the Patriots, 6-time Super Bowl champion coach, is now the coach for the University of North Carolina football team. The whole thing has been interesting. I don't know how North Carolina fans feel about him as the coach because of the struggle of a season that they had. But he shows up, and he is like the absolute last person I would think would be participating in a banana ball thing at all. Because if you know anything about him and his like conversations with the media and stuff, and you saw a little bit of that with the post game with Brett. He's just not very talkative. He's not he always kind of looks like he's grumpy, but he was smiling and it was awesome. So I'm happy for him that he got to have that moment, because it looked like he genuinely had a good time, which is fun. But this situation here was pretty funny. So they had him be a coach, and so this was an interesting situation here with a challenge.
Yeah, so Rat gets on first base, and then it's the moment after this where he actually gets the opportunity to challenge a play. And so we'll see what happened there as soon as. Sometimes you get the counts. It's like, which pitch was it on that happened? Okay, so here we go. Sunshine gets the catch, throws it back to first, calls out. And then and Bill Belichick, he asked for a review. And so obviously they had prepared that if there was a situation to review, that he would have that in his pocket. I don't think that the scenario was set up to guarantee a review, but
it's funny that he had the ability to do it for sure.
Yeah.
This is just perfect.
And so then they go to the replay, and this is where it gets really interesting and possibly a little bit juicy. So they're showing the replays over and over again. You hear Biko.
He's out.
You show Biko and Josh talking about how it's a close call, that it could be safe, could be out, but like they were saying if they were the ones that were reviewing the call like they used to in previous years, that they probably would not have overturned
it. So you have to have indisputable video evidence to change the call. He was called out. You can't. The angle's not good enough to know for sure that he is touching the bag there.
It's really dark. It's really hard right there.
But
so Sammy, what are your thoughts on that?
My honest thoughts, I think they overturned it because it was Bill Belichick that challenged it, and it's more fun. It's funnier if you overturn it. Ultimately, it didn't matter. The Tailgaters won the inning. They won that inning. But it's just, it's funny.
Yeah, I definitely think that there could have been a slight edge towards overturning it because of how crazy of a moment that the one time he's going to be on the first base, there was actually a play that happened at first base. He was able to have a sight line. He called the challenge, and then they had the opportunity to overturn it. And you can see Coach Mikulik does not agree with that overturning, and rightfully so. It was a very close call. But yeah, what a moment to actually have him overturn a call, whether it was warranted or not.
I think he was out. Well, I mean, okay, let me be clear. I don't know if he was out or not, but the call was out, and you have to have indisputable video evidence to overturn it, and you just simply didn't have that. So we don't know for sure that he was safe, so he had to still be out. But, and I'll admit it is hilarious that Bill Belichick wins a challenge in a banana ball game, and so it is what it is.
Ooh, this is really good. Thank you for bringing this up in the chat. Gary said in the stadium it was clearer that this should have been overturned.
Okay.
Rack was safe. I was sitting in the outfield between first and second base. Thank you, Gary. That's awesome. So again, but it goes back to what Sammy said, is by the official things, it has to be indisputable evidence to overturn it. But it's good that they got the right call.
And Biko said that maybe they had an angle that they didn't have. I don't know for sure if they did, because usually, I mean, in other sports, usually it's whatever the broadcast team has is what the officials are seeing. But so it.
Thank you for that insight.
Yeah, so if you were there and you had a clear sight that he was safe, that's great. But at what I saw, it seemed like you couldn't overturn it from that. But if he was safe, that's great, and it's just a really funny moment there.
Yeah. So let's jump to another hilarious moment that just is peak banana ball. So let me pull this one up here, but it has to do with stilts. Good old stilts. This moment was absolutely hilarious.
Me and Brandon were watching it, and I could not stop laughing at this play. So Taylor Justice is mic'd up, and so he says it afterwards, after you see what happens. I'm sure a lot of people have already seen this, but he's mic'd up. He's talking to Biko and Josh. So Biko and Josh are in his ear, and so he can't hear Sunshine trying to call him off. And so this is what the result of the play.
Yeah, that's what happens.
So Stilts is batting. Okay.
Runner on first base. And yeah, like Sammy said, he's mic'd up, so he can't hear his teammates at all as communication might happen. So Stilts pops it up, and then you see right here,
Sunshine
both players, they're both going for it, and he's able to grab the ball, throw it in, and then get the double play. Okay, couple things. We gotta rewatch this here. There's multiple pieces here. So one is, look at Stilts. Stilts sees it go up, and you notice that he doesn't start running immediately because he assumes it's going to be an out. Then it misses, and he has to run. Here's the other piece right here. Look at who grabs the ball after they pop the ball up. It's the right fielder because it's a football stadium.
He's
able
there,
to get to it, get the out at second, and then they flip it over to first and barely get Stilts out. Stilts almost made it to first, and that was the pitcher that then caught it at first. So just an absolutely crazy play, and it just gets better because of the mic'd up stuff.
Yeah, it's so funny. Just the wildest double play that you'll ever see. But yeah, if you're Stilts, you gotta run to first. But I get it. I wouldn't want to run in Stilts either if I think that I'm about to get out there. But so yeah, super funny play. I was laughing so hard that ended up being a double play.
And my favorite part about it is the miscommunication, but then they both like in sync try to tip the ball up. Like it's just so perfect. And you can just tell Sunshine's like trying to call him off, but Taylor can't hear it because he's got Biko and Josh in his ear. Oh, that was such an amazing play.
Yeah, fun play.
Yeah, so Sammy actually had fun during the Bananas game while that was going on.
I mean, it's because the Tailgaters got a double play.
Let's go to another play that I thought was pretty hilarious. And I guess to kind of bring it up, as you saw there, that was the 6th inning. The Bananas were down 4-1. And what we're going to show right here is that 1 point that the Bananas got in a pretty hilarious moment. So I'm just trying to find the exact timestamp of where this is so I can pull this up for you guys.
Yeah, we're going live. So sorry, I should have been talking there. That was bad podcasting by me. I kind of zoned out. So.
No, you're totally fine. And I'm actually going to go back a little bit because what made this moment even funnier was what happened right before it. So you don't see a lot of pickles in Banana Ball, but this play had 2 pickles back to back that caused crazy shenanigans. So Bananas, if the guy on third scores, they win. Danny Hosley starts running to home. They throw it home, and then he gets caught in a pickle.
That was bad base running. I don't know why he went with that infield hit. I mean, it wasn't a hit, but you know what I mean. Like that ball does not get past the infield at all. I don't know why you're running there. You don't have to. Because there's no force out at home, and so he decided to run on that. And then ends up getting tagged out. Like the only mistake Danny Hosley made all night.
Seriously, because he was the showman of the night.
He was amazing.
With all the pitching stuff. So again, he's a two-way player. So he plays in the outfield, bats, and then at the end of the game, he comes in and closes it out for them. So Danny Hosley gets out there in a pickle. So then there's runners on first and second. Then they get a hit. Bases are loaded again, which then leads to the next one that was just a little bit crazy. Let's see where this all comes down. So then the ball gets hit, and then they end up going home, which gets the out, and then they throw it to third. DR Meadows gets caught in a pickle. And this is where it gets crazy. Boom. He gets knocked over. And so they have to make the call because he got knocked out of the base path. And the call that they make is that DR Meadows scores because he got hit as he was coming down the baseline. Yeah. So what do you guys think in the comments about that call? I think it's definitely reasonable. I don't know all of the official baseball stuff in a situation like that, but it's definitely
you've got it. That is the right call because it's Barth's job there. The batter, I mean the runner has the right to the base path. That's the word I'm looking for. Gosh, I'm so tired.
Is it past 9 o'clock or something?
Yeah, the runner has the right there, and so when Barth throws that, it's his job to get out of the way. And so it kind of does look like DR runs into him.
I don't know about that,
but it's Barth's job to move there, and he just doesn't do it, and so it is interference, and so that's a run.
Yeah, so a very interesting moment there, and for a little bit, it looked like that might be the only run the Bananas were going to get for a while because as the game went on, you get to the point where I'm just trying to get the score up here. So even now, they're 5-2 in the 9th inning, but even going there, you go in the 7th. In the 7th inning, they were down 4-1. Like the tailgaters were destroying the Bananas during this game, and then the Bananas came with a crazy comeback, which we'll talk about in a second, in the 9th inning. But
Do we have to talk about that?
I think we do have to talk about it. But before we do, we can go to a couple of comments in here. So Sammy talking about how we can't name people's names unless they are sponsored, and he has Mountain Dew. No, Mountain Dew did not sponsor this episode,
I
but
would love that.
if you are a Mountain Dew sponsorship person, send us an email. We'd love to get in contact with you. And Carmen says, we need to get these guys some sponsorships. Yeah, so we'll see how it all goes. But yeah, we're Mountain Dew. If you're out there listening, hit us up. But yeah, should we go to the next Bananas moment that was crazy?
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool. So let's go to this moment was absolutely crazy. So Kyle Lewis kind of got a little bit of a crazy hand dealt to him with it being
this was very funny to me because this is for those of you that watched the wheel of unfortune is what they were or the wheel of pitches,
or wheel of unfortunate events, something like that.
Yeah, and they had done this 2 years ago when the Bananas played in Durham with Kyle, and what Biko and Josh were doing is that they were spinning a wheel, and that would decide what pitch that he had to throw.
Because he was mic'd up on the broadcast.
Yeah. And the thing that was so funny to me about this is that you could tell that Kyle didn't want to do it. Like, he was frustrated a little bit. And, it makes sense. Like, this is the Banana Ball Championship League now. Like, this is not just, Bananas and Party Animals were playing each other 2 years ago when this happened. And obviously, back then, they still were competitive. They still wanted to win. But it's a little bit different when you're playing the same team over and over again, and it's not the same feel of a full league. And so you could tell that he was like not really wanting to do it.
But you can also see that like Bill Leroy, the catcher, does not have an earpiece in. So Bill Leroy is trying to get him to throw a slider, and he keeps shaking him off until he finally calls for a fastball so that they're on the same page about what pitch is being thrown. And so it was just hilarious to see that kind of miscommunication going on. And that brings us to this pitch right here. So this pitch, the wheel came on Biko's pick. So broadcaster Biko says he wants a slider. Now, this was hilarious because every pitch before this, Bill Leroy, the catcher, had been shaken off multiple times because he kept calling a different pitch. In this moment, he calls a slider. So the wheel didn't actually affect anything because Bill Leroy would have picked the same pitch to come in. But then what happens is a little bit of deja vu for Kyle Lewis as he throws this pitch, and then Taylor Justice just slams it. Now, this is the crazy part. This is a football stadium.
Yeah, that's
426 feet to that center field. He hit it over 400 feet, blasted it out of the ballpark. So Taylor Justice, incredible home run, and the wheel of unfortunate events took another victim.
Yeah, that was a funny moment for sure. That was a bomb of a home run.
Yeah.
Just crazy to hit it out that far.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite parts about the football stadiums is not the simple home runs over the short right field. It's when a player absolutely tanks it out to the opposite field, which we saw last year with Reese Alexiadis as well. So shout out to Taylor Justice. What an incredible moment. What a monster home run. And just super cool to see.
Yeah, and how about that football helmet that they put on there? That's pretty fun.
Yeah, that was awesome. Okay, so we have one more. Or wait, that was all of them. Oh, we have to break down the 9th inning.
Yeah.
Are you ready for this?
Yeah. So
yeah,
full transparency here. We were watching the game together, and then in the 8th inning, I believe it was, I went home because I needed to. My kids were there, and our families were watching the game together, and my kids were so excited to watch Sunshine. That Sunshine's their favorite player. But it was time to put them to bed, and so we left in the 8th inning, and the Tailgaters were up 5-2. And then I'm like trying to focus on starting the bedtime routine and all that stuff, all that fun parenting stuff. And then I see a text from Brandon that just says bananas and showdowns. I'm like, what in the world? How? I thought for sure that that the Tailgaters were gonna pull it off, and it just and then of course I had to turn it on at that point, and I watched showdowns. But yeah, it was crazy ending.
Yeah, sorry. Before we go into the crazy ending of that, we got a ton of comments in here that I want to talk with the Wheel of Misfortune. This is an interesting conversation. Gary says, they didn't have anything about that in the stadium. Would have been interesting to know. And he says, if the broadcasts are going to influence the play, they need to also highlight that in the venue, even if they don't tell you the actual called pitch. And I think that is a really good point, because that added value to the game. The fact that we knew what the pitch was, we knew that it was being affected by the wheel. I totally agree. You can't tell the actual pitch because then the batter knows. But that's a very interesting call out, that sometimes those broadcasts, I also would love to know when they're mic'd up, because when we go to the games, I literally even if we don't hear them, I'd love to, I don't know, we'll have to figure out if that's actually fans first, who knows. But from my perspective, I think that'd be cool to know some of the stuff that's happening on the broadcast while you're in the stadium, like the wheel. But I don't know.
Yeah, I get that, but the logistics there are really hard. You don't really want the batter, even if the batter doesn't know the exact pitch, you don't really even want him to know that there's this gimmick going on during the at bat. And then also just the in-game experience is just always going to be different than watching a broadcast of it. I go to, if you go to any sporting event, if I go to a basketball game, there are storylines in the game that I don't know about, that you just don't know because you're not listening to the play-by-play guy, you're not listening to the color commentator talk about stuff. You're not seeing all of the stats all of the time. You've got a scoreboard there, but there's not you don't know someone's shooting percentage or whatever. So things could be a little bit different. But also at the same time, if I'm keeping this analogy going,
you as a Bananas fan,
stop trying not to do something like that. So it's a completely different sport in this analogy. If I would see things on the court that you don't see in the broadcast, just like how people are bringing up some things that they've seen in the dugout at some of these games that you don't see in the stream. And so it's just give and take of what you see on the broadcast, what you see in a game. It's just always going to be different. But I get the frustration there, that it would have been nice to know something like that. But it also is well, if you gives you some motivation to watch the stream later, I don't know. I know. It gives you motivation to listen to guys like us talk about
there we go.
Broadcast.
Yeah.
Gary, it's 12:30 over there for you. That's crazy that you're watching this. Thank you.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's very interesting seeing the differences, because I feel like it's even more drastic in banana ball than it is in other sports because of things like that. So yeah, we saw a lot of comments in there, so just wanted to kind of highlight that before we jumped into the other one.
Yes, I totally agree with you, Gary. You're right.
Yeah,
I just don't know exactly how you do it without any sort of giving something like that away to a batter or anything like that.
Yeah. You don't want to give something away to the batter, but yeah, it's why did Kyle Lewig shake off Bill Leroy 6 times?
Yeah, I know. The batter's what? Something's weird going on. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, so let's jump into the let's jump into the ninth inning, and then let's close up shop for tonight, as it is very, very late. So let's go into this ninth inning. So ninth inning, Tailgaters are up 5-2. It looks like they have a clear handle on winning this game. And then this was the moment that kind of started to break everything. So Bill Leroy got a ball four sprint, stole to second, which was genius. And then Jackson Olsen gets a ball four sprint right after, scores Bill Leroy, makes it a 5-3 game with a runner on and no outs, and kind of just saw the wheels come off a little bit. And in this moment, you definitely see, I don't know if we'll get the exact play, but Coach Mikulik was not happy, and Reese was not happy with some of the calls by Vince behind the plate. We'd have to go look back at all of the different things to see exactly what they were frustrated at, but just there were some frustrations that we saw.
Should we bring ABS to Banana Ball?
No.
Do we have this discussion, Brandon?
I don't know if we have this
Me
discussion.
and Brandon had a heated conversation about ABS the other day. Well, that's an MLB thing. Well, anyway. Okay, keep going.
No, you're good. So this was a crazy moment. So Coach Rack breaks his bat. And so this was a crazy, crazy turn of events. So he has to grab the first bat that comes out there, grabs Ryan Cox's bat. And so this is just the crazy small things that affect the games. And Coach Rack is a really cool moment because he had a great start to last season and then kind of had some struggles with batting, and as well as some other struggles that came. And so just kind of seeing him have an incredible moment just really makes my heart happy. But we'll see exactly. I don't remember which pitch when he gets his moment. But just a really cool moment.
Reese Miller has been having an amazing season, so this was sad. Yeah, look at that bat flip. That's awesome.
As the best bat flip of all time. He's just so pumped. Just to get that home run, especially because, on a personal note, he gets a home run, but then also knowing there's a runner on base, this ties the ball game. I was losing my mind when this happened. Just so awesome. And we have some video footage. I was able to have the camera on. I was not expecting this, and so I was
you did film yourself?
Yeah.
Oh, good. We're gonna get some good content out.
Yeah, they were down by a couple points, and I was like, they have to score a couple more, and then I'll turn on the camera and you know what? What if he does something here? And so I pushed play, and then he pulled that off. And so we'll be posting that later with that. But just such a crazy.
I've been hearing people like Brandon's reactions more than mine. So let's just keep Brandon's reactions going.
That's funny. And then they go straight into golden batter. Max Jung Goldberg. Reese is able to, I believe, get him out there. Great moment for them. He's able to pull out the rest of the inning, get it tied, and then we end up going 5-5 into showdowns. And showdowns were absolutely insane tonight because they were able to have really just a crazy pitcher's duel.
Well, yeah. So we're showing it, but I'll just spoil it here. For the first time ever in Banana Ball history, Banana Ball Showdowns history, the first 4 at-bats ended in strikeouts. So Danny Hosley gets a strikeout, Reese Miller gets a strikeout, then Danny Hosley gets a strikeout, then Reese Miller gets a strikeout, and then you go to round 3. So that was pretty crazy. Strikeouts are so exciting in showdowns because, especially in a football stadium, even with a fielder, if you get that ball to the wall, you're going to score. So it's pretty exciting that they were able to get those strikeouts.
Yeah, because again, you see it. I'll pause it right there. You see it in this right here, on the left side out here. If you hit the ball like Sammy's saying out there, guaranteed run. There's no way that they're going to get there because even at the MLB ballparks. But
sorry. Gary had a funny question. We will get to that, Gary. We have an answer for you about Brett's pie in his face. All right.
Reese Miller gets a strikeout like Sammy said, and then we go to second round. They both strike out players again, and then Danny Hosley induces soft contact. Again, we were talking about the competitive nature of Banana Ball. Look at Kyle Martin's response.
He had a great game too.
He had a fantastic game. He is crushing it for the tailgaters, but just in the moment, just super frustrating. You saw KJ do that as well when he got out, but
Yeah.
just great for Danny Hosley to pull that off, close out the inning for them. And that's his third showdown shutdown, led to him being showman of the night. And then you see Reese Miller go out again. Skipped ahead a little too far, spoiling what happened there. And then Dan Oberst comes up. And really
As cool as a cucumber right here, and is able to win it. So
yeah, and what a cool moment for him, because even tonight he had 2 foul home runs. And so yeah, bases loaded, hits that, run scores. Like he would have scored as well, like we talked about earlier. So like honestly, the score should have been 9-5.
no, it's 6-5.
I think it should have been 9-5.
Well, no, it was 6-5.
So they great moment for Dan Oberst. Danny Hosley gets showman of the night. Bananas win. Bananas are now 9-1 this season, and take it home against the Texas Tailgaters, who are a fantastic team this year. So shout out to the Bananas, absolutely crushing it. Amazing time. And yeah, we'll stop talking about the 9th inning so Sammy doesn't have to.
9-1 is crazy. That seriously, we've just spent an hour talking about how competitive this league is and how close everything is. And then you've got the Bananas that are up 4 games on the Tailgaters.
Yeah.
They have a 4-game lead from against the team that's in second. 9-1 is just absolutely insane. I don't know if a team's going to catch them. We'll see. But what an absolute tear they're going on. If the Bananas keep this pace and KJ keeps playing the way he played, he didn't have the greatest game today, but KJ's the front runner for MVP right now. It's crazy. I can't believe that the Bananas are 9-1. I can't believe this is happening to me. This is terrible.
Yeah, so the Bananas are crushing it. The Party Animals are struggling, and the league is going great. The competition's never been fiercer, and it's 9:30 at night for us, 12:30 for some people. And someone even commented that they're watching this at 4:30 a.m. In the UK. So
that's amazing.
But yeah, it's a great time. Thank you guys so much for being here.
We got to answer Gary's question.
Okay, go for Gary's question.
Short story, Gary. Brett got pie thrown on his face by his dad. It was the promo was the pie your dad thing, and so Brett went to go find his dad in the stands to throw a pie at his dad, but then his dad ended up throwing the pie at him. Pretty funny. So that's why Brett had a cream pie on his face. Anyway, yeah, let's talk about the live stream schedule. For those that are still here, wow, you guys are amazing. So much.
But yeah, so just looking at the live stream schedule, this was tonight, next week, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We'll be doing a live stream right here as soon as those games end. So the games will go from 7 to 9 Eastern time there in Grayson Stadium. At 9 o'clock or whenever the game ends, whether it's early or late, we will start the live stream and talk about everything that happened in that game, break it all down for you. And so Thursday is going to be seed 1 playing seed 4. Whoever wins moves on to the championship for the Banana Ball Open. So it's a really important game. Then Friday, same thing, but seed 2 and seed 3. Also a very important game. And then Saturday is going to be the first round of a 2-game series for the playoff spot. So we'll break down everything there. And then, as we mentioned earlier in the live stream, we will not be going live on Sunday, taking a break for ourselves and our family. And then we will be going live Monday afterwards to then recap everything that happened. We'll do the whole Banana Ball Open from start to finish and specifically focus on the Sunday game and what happened there and who has a playoff spot. So very excited for that and to break this all down with you guys.
We're going to be really busy. It's going to be a lot of fun. I cannot wait for the Open. It's going to be so much fun to cover that. Covering the playoffs last year was a highlight for me. That was super fun. And yeah, it's going to be a blast. So I hope you guys tune in and watch. And thank you guys for all the support. If you want to support us more, like and subscribe and follow us on Instagram and all that stuff. And
really
yeah.
quickly, for those who are still on, I have a tease for you guys. Next week on the Thursday broadcast, there's something that we've been working on that we'll be announcing there that we're really excited about. It has to do with the stats. A lot of fun stuff going there.
And by we, Brandon's been working on it. He was trying to explain this to me today, and I was just like, dude, if you know how to do it, just do it. I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, so we're super excited to we'll be bringing that for you guys. It'll be free and available for everyone who wants it at that time. But we're going to be pulling that together. Super excited for that. So make sure that you come on the live stream next week and you can hear about our awesome announcement.
Yep, can't wait. So go Party Animals. Let's hope for a win tomorrow. Right, guys?
Yep. Okay, go Banana Ball. Thank you, everyone, so much. We'll see you
Thanks.
guys later. Have a great week.